Okay, for those of y'all that don't know me, my name is Chris Guertin. I've been working with the youth for 6-7 years now, maybe a little longer. We didn't do any announcements for the ski trip. This year I don't have Logan coming running up ready for the ski trip already dressed. We didn't kidnap Pastor Roger this year. I'm sure he's thankful for that. So we just did a little youth Sunday, and now you don't get out that early. We're not stopping. I've got 4 or 5 pages. It'll go quick, trust me. I told the youth this story, and when I did, I cried. So y'all can expect the same today, so just bear with me. But it's time for our pop quiz. How many of y'all know the song that we had during the offering? How many have ever heard it? Okay, other than the youth. I know y'all heard it, you sang it. Okay, of those who have heard it, how many of y'all know the story behind it? You want to tell us? I'm just kidding. I was hoping. So I'm going to tell you a little story behind it. How many of y'all have heard of Mercy Me? There's a group that sings it. Bart Millard, he wrote this song or co-wrote it. He started out, he was just having a bad day. He was taking his son to a doctor's appointment. His son's been diabetic since he was 2 years old. He's now 15, or at the time of the song, he was 15. And on the way to the appointment, he was just having a bad day. He knew that regardless of what happened, that his son was still going to be a diabetic. Didn't matter if it was a good appointment, bad appointment. It was just something they were going to have to deal with day after day after day. And a lady came up that they knew from church and, was asking him how they were doing, and he was telling them, and, she said, well, let's pray for him. Let's pray that God heals him. And he said, she was doing what she thought was right, and he goes, in his mind, he was saying, don't you think we've already thought of this? He just was having one of those woe is me type days. And so they went to the appointment, and after the appointment, he went and met with Tim Timmons, who's also a Christian artist who's a songwriter, and he was telling him, he was just pouring out his heart to him, and he was crying and telling me, I'm just having a bad day. And he said, here I am, I'm up on the stage every day. He said, I'm telling people the good news of Jesus, telling them to trust in Jesus, and he goes, I just don't feel it. He said, I'm just having a horrible time with this. And he said, as he's starting to talk and just pour out his heart, he said, Tim's over there playing the piano, and he said, at one point I was like, is he even paying attention to me? And what he didn't realize is Tim had written a song, or started to write a song, that had some of the same things in it. And he was playing that and taking it all in. So he said he left, feeling just down and out. He said he even told him at one point, he said, I want to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He said, just, trust in God that no matter what happens, he's going to pull me out of the fire. And so he said he left and, just kind of really didn't feel much better as he felt like Tim was just kind of ignoring him, And a few hours later, Tim sent him a message. And the message had a video of him playing some of the song and some of the lyrics he had wrote to it previous and some of the lyrics he had put in it that he had told him that day. And that's how the song was born, between the two of them putting everything together just out of a bad day. So for those of y'all who don't know, let's turn in your Bible. We're going to see what he meant by how he wanted to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. To set the stage on the verses here, we're going to be in Daniel chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. King Nebuchadnezzar had set out that he had built a big gold statue, and that anytime there was music playing, singing, any type of instrument, that everybody was to bow and worship this gold figure that he had, basically an idol. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were Christians. They believed in God. They were not going to bow down. So we read here where they had already told that they were not going to bow down, and Nebuchadnezzar said, if you don't bow down, I'm going to throw you into the fiery furnace. And so this is their response to that. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. So here, that's what he meant by he wanted to be like them, that no matter what, even if God did not deliver him from what he was having problems, that he wanted to be able to serve him regardless of what was going on. So this morning, real quick, hopefully quick for y'all. I want to let you know how this song and this story relate to my life. For all y'all that know, it's my wife Deborah. I'm starting early. I haven't even got to the bad part yet. It's my wife Deborah. Half the youth group is mine, and I'm missing some. Bryce was Aaron, Bradley was Charlie, and Hunter was our lead singer. We have two more before Gabriel. And so we got married in July of 2014, and most of y'all know that I worked in a nursery here since well before most of y'all were here. I see some faces that were here at the time, some people that were in there with me, and I love babies, so the question was, when are y'all going to have a baby? My answer was, we're not. Deborah's answer was, I don't know when. So we talked about it, and we decided Deborah really wanted a baby. And I wasn't opposed to it. I was just thinking, I'm in my 40s. I'm not sure this is a good idea. But I prayed about it. I told her I would. I didn't say, originally I told her no way. While we were dating, I was like, not happening. I told some of y'all in here, it'd have to be a really rich woman where I could stay home from work. Well, we have a baby, and I'm not staying home from work, so be careful what you say. You'll eat your words on that. But we prayed about it, and we decided that, we're going to have a baby. So around August or September that year, Deborah stopped with birth control, and we figured, we had plenty of kids. This is going to be no problem. We're going to have a baby here soon, and that didn't happen. That was August or September. It was the following July that she got pregnant. It was on her birthday. She comes out, totally. She comes out and she tells me she's pregnant. Now, I'm telling you, you can't compete with a birthday present like that. What am I supposed to say? I didn't buy you a whole lot. I can't compete with you being pregnant. So we were super excited. We told my mom, my sister. I think that's about it. Because we didn't want to tell everybody because she just found out she was pregnant. She's a couple weeks along. But unfortunately, it wasn't long after that it went from happiness to sadness. Do the math. Gabriel's 6 months old. That was a long time ago. She had a miscarriage. For anybody that's in here that your wife's ever had a miscarriage, for me, it was upsetting. But I was kind of encouraged, it's okay, we'll be fine. We'll work through this, we'll keep trying. I don't know exactly how Deborah felt. We talked about it a little bit, but she, I just kept trying to keep a positive attitude for her sake and keep us going. And so time goes on, and still no baby. Everybody and your brother, half of y'all in here had kids while we're trying. Thankful for y'all and, happy for y'all, but for us, we're just like, what about us? Well, Deborah started going to see a specialist, and, still no baby. And I have to admit, I was pretty jealous, we really wanted a kid by this time, and it's one of those things that the more you want it, it kept getting worse. It seemed like every time I went on Facebook, somebody was posting something about having a baby, or it seemed like 3 or 4 people, posting every month, this is our baby's progress, and still nothing for us. And that went on for about 10 months or so. And then in May of 2016, once again, she comes out, I'm pregnant. Well, this time we were a little more cautious. We didn't tell anybody. But we were still, we went and saw the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, don't get too excited, but how do you not get excited when you find out you're pregnant and you've been trying for so long? So we got excited. We already had baby names picked out before we even got married. So we took the boys to D.C., had a good time up there, come home, and the only people that knew, I think, were a couple ladies at work because they were checking her hormone levels like every couple days. I'd explain it to you, but I don't know, so if you're interested later, Deborah can tell you all the things they can check other than just a, pregnancy test just to make sure she was pregnant. She was on medication to help stabilize the pregnancy. This time, it didn't work again. I felt like I'd been kicked in the teeth. It was heartbreaking. Twice we had a little baby, so excited. and nothing. I think there was even somebody that I knew that had had a baby and was pregnant again, and here we are still, no baby. I was very bitter. I was very unhappy with God. I didn't understand why. Understood, some people, everybody, having babies, different people I know in church, but there was so many teens, not married, had no way to take care of their child, didn't know what they were doing. We're good parents. We're in church every Sunday. I'm teaching Sunday school. I'm working with the youth. Why can't we have a baby? I question God on a regular basis. Why not us? What did we do wrong? There again, Deborah was down and out. This time, I knew how she felt. She was very depressed, very upset. We didn't tell anybody. It hurt a lot. I remember before one of Bryce's baseball games, one of the ladies asked me what was wrong, and so I told her I had to tell somebody. Mark Horton caught me out back when in the nursery one day. He said, "How you doing?" I couldn't tell him anymore I was doing fine, because I wasn't. I was in here faking it for all of y'all. I wasn't up on this stage like in the song, but I was in the Sunday school class. I was faking it. I was telling everybody that everything's great, God's great, God's going to get you through whatever, God's going to help you. But in my heart, I didn't believe it. That's not what I felt. I felt very upset with God. I didn't know what I was going to do. So then, that was in the 1st of June. My sister asked us if we wanted to go on a cruise. So we booked a cruise for the following year. And my mom and my sister, I remember them asking us, because they didn't know. I remember them asking us, well, what if she gets pregnant? And I was like, well, she's not going to go to the specialist for a while. She's not going to take her medication. We'll just see what happens. We haven't had a baby by now. We probably won't. So, no big deal. We're just going to book our cruise and we'll see what happens. Well, that August, Deborah's niece called. We were packing for a trip. We were taking the boys. We were going up to the mountains for a few days. And Deborah comes out of her closet. I'm standing in front of mine. Yes, I did say she comes out of her closet, her nice, huge walk-in closet. My little closet that I now share with Gabriel. And she comes out, she holds her phone out and says, hold on a minute. She puts it on speakerphone. And her niece Nicole goes, guess what? I'm pregnant. I just kind of looked at Deborah kind of the way that Alexis looked at Bryce up here like, seriously? Now you're pregnant. Why? So I faked it. Of course, she couldn't see me, so it made it a little easier. Congratulations, I'm really happy for you. But I wasn't. I was one more person. One more person that we knew personally, not just somebody on Facebook this time. Now I'm sitting there, I'm depressed about the trip that we were excited about. I'm thinking, we're going away, but I just like, this just sucks. I ain't gonna lie. It just really felt bad. So we did our normal routine after we got the car packed. When we go on a trip, we pack the car the night before. Kids are told if you're not in the car when we leave at 6 o'clock, then you stay home. So we packed the car, didn't tell any boys what's going on. I don't know if they could tell it or not, but I wasn't happy. So we pack up. That night we do our normal bed routine, take a shower, get clothes out for the next day. We lay down, take my meds, set the alarm for the next morning, and put some chapstick on, roll over, give Deborah a kiss so she can steal my chapstick. She rolls over, I cuddle up to her, tell her I love her, and usually she's out like that. If I'm ever watching TV or anything, I'd turn it up because she's snoring. But this night was different. I usually start my prayers after that. That's my time with God. But I didn't feel like praying tonight. I didn't feel like talking to God. I was mad. I just didn't know what to say. So I laid there, and I just laid there, knowing, this is probably 11, 12 o'clock at night, knowing the alarm's going to go off at 5. I got to get up, drive 4 hours. Safety of the kids relies on me, but I just couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't pray. I just didn't know what to say. A lot of times if I can't sleep, I think about the boys. Just things with them just helps me relax. I couldn't do that. And I started crying. And I talked with God, and I said, God, I can't take it anymore. This is tearing me up. Why not us? And there was nothing. So I prayed a little bit more. I said, God, give me an answer. If we're not going to have a baby, just don't let us go through this again. I can't do it again. I can't go through another miscarriage. That's our child. I don't care that it's 2 weeks. I don't care if it had been 10 months and he was born. It's our child. Why are you allowing this to happen? I can't take it anymore. So I just laid there and I just kept praying. I kept talking with him. And I finally got to the point and I said, God, I'm still going to serve you. I'm still going to go to church on Sunday morning. I'm still going to teach the youth. No matter what you do in this situation, no matter whether we have a baby or not, I'm still going to go serve you. And at that point, I was at peace. It was only for a short period of time before the alarm went off, but I slept really well that night. For the first time, probably a year. All the bitterness was gone. I just felt better. And we went and we had a great vacation. We went tubing. Have any of y'all ever been to Linville Falls? If you walk to the bottom, it's like 1,000 miles downhill. But then when you walk back up, it's 1,000 miles uphill. And it is horrible. Of course, that's for Deborah and I. The boys ran down. They were in swimming, playing around on the rocks while Deborah's come down, about to die. And then you had to turn around and go back. So we do that. We go to, we went to a whole bunch of places up in the mountains. We went to Linville Caverns, went to Sliding Rock, all the touristy stuff that you can do. Just had a great time. It was a great time. And so we get home, and we got home on a Wednesday night. Thursday morning, Deborah comes out. She's pregnant. I just made her walk all that time through all these places. She was pregnant. Didn't know it. The whole time I'm praying to God for some peace here. Didn't know it. She was pregnant. This time we were very, very nervous, but very happy. We went to the specialist. They did an ultrasound. Deborah picked on me because they consider her old. So she's not, but they consider her old. So we got ultrasounds like every month, sometimes twice a month. Every time we went, I cried. Every time I saw that heartbeat, it was still alive. It was just so exciting. It wasn't until, I think, the first ultrasound that we went to that I didn't cry was at the point where I could feel him move. Because if I could feel him move, he was still there. So I was able to not cry at an ultrasound after that. For those of y'all that know, we have our baby boy. He's over there, he won't shut his mouth. But I share this with you today because just like in my life and just like in the play with Bryce, his character Aaron, we don't know what's going on in the life of everybody here in the church. We don't know what's going on in the leadership. We don't know what Pastor Roger's going through outside of the church. We don't know what the deacons are going through outside of the church. So we need to pray for them. We need to pray for each other. So this morning, I'd just like to ask all of y'all to pray for me as a youth leader. Pray for Pastor Roger. Pray for the others. We're going to play an invitation song here in just a minute. I'd like Pastor Roger to come up here to the front. And if you need to pray for yourself, if you want to pray for others, if you want somebody to pray for you, please come down this morning. Just let us know. Somebody, one of the deacons, Pastor Roger, myself, somebody will pray with you. So as the song plays, if you would like to come pray, or if you need prayers, please come forward. And thank you.